Though there is no clear data on homeschooling, but according to some estimates, as many as 15,000 Indian families have decided to homeschool their children, especially as safety becomes a prime concern for parents. If you are a parent who is contemplating homeschooling, then in this video, I'm going to answer all your questions and queries comprehensively. So keep watching. We are going to discuss what is homeschooling, how did homeschooling come into existence, how to begin homeschooling your child, can homeschooling students pursue higher education, legalities of homeschooling in India, some homeschooling communities in India, some useful Indian homeschooling websites or links. First of all, let us understand what is homeschooling. Well, it is not the same as e-learning or online learning which we are witnessing during the ongoing pandemic. Because in that case, the child is enrolled in a school and the teacher is the primary educator. The teacher educates as per the school's calendar and as per the board's curriculum. Homeschooling, in simple words, is the education of school-age children at home by parents or tutors. Homeschooling has been widely prevalent in other countries for many years now. But in India, the interest in homeschooling has increased tremendously during the ongoing pandemic because the schools all over the country are closed. We don't know when the schools will reopen. And even when they do open, parents may not be comfortable with the idea of sending their kids to school until it's absolutely safe. Also, parents have increasingly realized that they need to actively stay involved in their child's educational development. Many parents have decided to be the primary educator for their children, mostly out of choice, but for some, the decision is also the need of the hour. How did homeschooling come into existence? The education of school-age children at home by family members has been a common practice in different cultures for most part of the history. In the West, the homeschooling process gained momentum during the 1970s when popular authors like John Holt and Raymond Moore started writing about educational reforms. Homeschooling has been a part of Indian ancient culture, wherein the education of children occurred at Guru's home. The tradition of Guru Shishyas or Gurukulas was common practice, wherein the education occurred with the students living at the Guru's home and they lived together like a close family unit. Though there is no fixed number of homeschoolers in India, but it has been gaining importance in major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore and Ahmedabad. In fact, Kerala has a growing community of homeschoolers. Now we come to the part where we discuss how to begin homeschooling your children. Well, you can start educating your child at home without enrolling into a school or affiliating to a board. In such a scenario, the parents and the children are free to explore various curriculums and resources. The parents and the children need not restrict themselves to a particular curriculum. This approach works best for children who are in their elementary or middle school years. The children need not take any formal exams. So suppose if a child, you want to educate your child at home, then you can pick up any books, follow any curriculum, refer to any online or offline resources and begin educating your child. The child need not sit for any exams. But in case you want your child to appear for exams at regular intervals, then there is a way to go about that as well, which we will be discussing in the next part of the video. So stay tuned. At a later stage, when the child is nearing high school or college, the child can choose a board and follow the board's curriculum. We will understand this in detail in the next section of the video. The second approach is when the children can enroll as private candidates into certain schools which allow for private candidature. Here, the child is enrolled in a school, but the parents choose to educate the child at home, following the school's curriculum as per the board, and the child also appears for exam as per the school's calendar. Homeschooled children also appear for various exams such as the Olympiads, and they also attend various extracurricular activities such as dance, painting, music, theatre, etc. as per their interests. Now let's understand how can homeschooling children pursue higher education. To understand this comprehensively, let's look at the various boards of education that cater to homeschoolers in India. At present, the homeschoolers are not eligible to appear for exams conducted by ICSE and ISC. nor can they appear for exams conducted by CBSE or IB board as independent candidates. The options for homeschoolers are few, and the popular ones are NIOS and Cambridge exams. Other than these, there are few state boards which also allow independent candidature. For example, the Maharashtra board, but it is not a popular choice for homeschoolers as the child is required to learn 3 languages compulsorily. NIOS is a popular option for homeschoolers because of the flexibility it offers in both admissions and choices of subjects. It offers different courses for different age groups such as elementary course, secondary education course and senior secondary education course. Let's look at it in detail. The OBE program is offered at 3 levels: OBE level A, which is equivalent to class 1st to 3rd, OBE level B, which is equivalent to class 4th to 5th, OBE level C, which is equivalent to class 6th to 8th. Also, secondary course equivalent to class 10th, senior secondary course equivalent to class 12th, and vocational education. Homeschoolers need not sit for any exams, but if they wish to write exams in their elementary and middle school years, then they can appear for level A, level B and level C exams as we discussed just now when they affiliate to NIOS board. To appear for exams for class 10th and 12th, if the students choose to affiliate to NIOS board, all they are required to do is register with the board a year before they appear for the exam. NIOS will provide a mark sheet and a certificate with which the homeschooler can apply for high school and colleges. Also, the certificate issued by NIOS carries the same recognition as other boards and is valid for appearing for various competitive exams. Another option is the Cambridge exams. Let's look at it in detail. The various courses offered by Cambridge are Cambridge Primary, which is CIPP for an age group of 5 to 11 years, Cambridge Secondary 1 or Lower Secondary or Checkpoint for age group 11 to 14 years, Cambridge Secondary 2, which is IGCSE or O level for 14 to 16 years, Cambridge Advanced AS or A level for 16 to 19 years. Homeschoolers in India can appear for these exams registered as private candidates with the school or through British councils in some big cities, for example, the British Council in Kolkata. IGCSE is conducted by Cambridge International Examinations or CIE and EdExcel. On completing the IGCSE exam, the student is issued the IGCSE certificate, a statement of marks and a migration certificate. To apply for a junior college, the student can then submit the eligibility certificate. Now, let's look at the legalities of homeschooling in India. At present, homeschooling is not regulated by any government authorities, and thus homeschoolers need not register themselves with any government authorities or agencies. With the advent of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act in 2009, there was a rising confusion amongst the homeschooling parents, since the Act did not include homeschooling in one of its definitions of school. Also, it made it mandatory for children between the age groups of 16 and 14 years to attend school. This implied that homeschooling may not be recognized by the government. Homeschoolers felt that this is an infringement on their freedom to choose the mode of education, and thus they demanded an amendment of the Act to accommodate and recognize homeschooling as an approved mode of education. In response to this, the then HRD Minister, Mr. Kapil Sibal, clarified the ministry's position on homeschooling in an interview in 2010 with Times of India. This is what he said in the interview. The Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009 or the RTE Act 2009 wants every child to be in school. But if somebody decides not to send his or her children to school, we are not going to interfere. The compulsion is on the state, not on the parents. Parents are free not to send their children to school but teach them at home. We cannot be micromanaging. Another hurdle posed by the RTE Act is over the external certification of elementary education through homeschooling. And iOS in 2011 announced that in light of the RTE Act 2009, the OBE program will discontinue catering to children aged between 6 to 14 years after 2013. A PIL was registered in this regards before the High Court of Delhi by Shreya Sahai. Since then, the OBE program has been periodically extended, the latest extension being till March 2025. The Union HRD's Ministry's affidavit in the Shreya Sahai matter affirmed the legality of homeschooling, and it also indirectly recognized the children's right to education of choice. Now, let's look at some homeschooling communities in India. Indian Association of Homeschoolers, also known as Swa-Shikshan, Homeschooling Forum, Twitter of Homeschooling in India, FB of Homeschoolers India, Homeschooling in India Yahoo Group, Google Group of Indian Homeschoolers. Some supporting organizations: Homeschool Legal Defense Association or HSLDA, Pune Homeschoolers Group, Cascade Family Learning Society, a society for homeschooled children in Chennai, India, Learning Societies and Conference, Udaipur-based Shikshantar. These online and offline resources work in favor of homeschooling in India in any possible and legal matter, which includes communicating, consultations, handholding, and organizing various beneficial and supportive activities such as play dates, meetups, and field trips. These communities also play the role of bringing the entire homeschooling community together so that the road is not lonely, both for the homeschooling parents and students. On the next slide, we'll look at some important homeschooling Indian websites or links. You can take a screenshot of the same. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. I am Archana, and see you in my next video.